What is going on? Carson back here with another live stream. Tonight we're going to be talking about some recent pickups and reads, some eBay wins. I got a Mayhew mystery box, and I got a whole lot of stuff I read on the DC Universe app. So stay tuned after the bumper so we can talk more about it. All right, how's it going, guys? I do have to say hi to my friend, the Great Legend Show, in the chat. He says hashtag DC for life. Yeah, we're got a lot of DC to talk about tonight. The DC Comics Universe Ultra, whatever you want to call it. That subscription base, I've been using that a lot, and I got a lot of thoughts on that to cover tonight. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into some recent reads and some recent pickups, and then we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff from that DC app. So without further ado, let's get a little bit of music queued up here, and we'll start with some Thundercats. So I almost kind of forgot this book was coming out. I went and picked it up this afternoon. Not too bad so far. I was a little disappointed, though. You see my little friend Snarf on the bottom corner there. I was looking forward to having a great time with the Thundercats and Snarf. We have a great time. Well, maybe not so great time. I'll get into that in a second. There's no Snarf in this comic, unless I just missed him or he's in the background. I didn't see any Snarf in this book. So come on, guys. Like, let's get it together. We need, like, Snarf. He's hiding back here. Snarf wants to be in your comic book. Put him in your Snarfing comic book. So there you go. Put Snarf back where he belongs there. Get away. Get out of the way there, Ant-Man. There was a little Ant-Man hiding back there. But anyway, if you watched like the original few episodes of Thundercats as they aired or on Toonami in the 90s or on DVD or whatever, you kind of know what to expect here. Their Thundera basically is blown up and the Thundercats land on Third Earth. And from there, you know, it all goes to hell basically. They got mutants chasing after them. Lion-O was supposed to be a lion cub, but then his little tube that was hauling them further broke, so then he became a full-grown Thundercat. So he's got all these other Thundercats trying to guide him and rebuilding, you know, the Thundercats basically, and all that stuff. And yeah, pretty fun ending with Mum-Ra. He gets woken up by the Sword of Omens, and somehow Jaga is his ghost, like his force ghost basically is with Mum-Ra instead of the Thundercats at that point, and that's like it just kind of cuts off there. The story has a hard cutoff right there, so I may actually have to check out issue 2. As an okay book, I wouldn't call it the greatest thing I've read, but I did appreciate them for bringing it back. And it's a Dynamite. I don't remember a Dynamite getting the license, but there you go. Not too bad of a start for Thundercats. I read actually it's like 80s and 90s cartoon week for my physical pickups, I guess. I tried out this Power Rangers The Return. I just was reading about the premise online, and it just was interesting enough to, you know, add to my drop list, I thought. Basically, in this one, it's actually written by the original Pink Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson, and this is Power Rangers 22 years later after, you know, pretty much the original run. So this is kind of like, I guess, if only the original run of Power Rangers happened. And it's just, there's basically only 3 Power Rangers that are kind of not killed or dead or trapped on the moon at this point. So Kimberly's kind of forsaken the Power Rangers name. She's actually like changed her alias and everything. And then more or less the Blue Ranger and the Black Ranger are the only 2 carrying the torch. Red Ranger's gone rogue, like he's trapped on the moon at the beginning of the book. Somehow there's a mysterious antagonist chasing after him. And then, you know, unfortunately, Tommy passed away, and then Trini. Both these actors have now passed away in real life, so I think this was kind of like almost a tribute to them as well, having them in the book and, you know, trying to work in what happened in real life into the story. But anyway, solid read. I don't know if I'm going to check out the second one or not, but I thought it was an interesting premise, you know, kind of in that era now where everything has to be like Last Roninized, basically, like an 80s property. You take, like, you know, Turtles and then put them in the distant future and only have one left. His brothers are dead. This is kind of like, you know, Pink Ranger and not the brightest future. It's not terrible just yet, but yeah, kind of interested to hear where this goes. I'm actually have to pick up the trade when that comes out. And then the last physical read I had this week was TMNT 147. I think 148 actually comes out tomorrow, so it shows you kind of how far behind. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the Armageddon game stuff because I kind of skipped out on that, but I'm deciding just to press forward because there's just way too many books to keep track of. And then you just, I feel like I'm April on the cover here. She's like, what in the world is going on? And it's just like, now we're in, like, we got time travel and alternate realities being worked back in. Like, Renette, like, apparently she's the time traveler you've probably seen in other Turtle stories. Like, she is the same character throughout all of the Turtle universes. So whenever Renette pops up, it gets really interesting and really crazy. Now she has an adult version of this albino turtle named Lita with her, helping her out. And for some reason, she also has, like, an old version of Raphael with her who his memories have kind of faded. He doesn't really remember even names. He calls Donatello Leo, and I don't even know what he calls Venus is with Donatello, and they're lost, like, in the void of time, basically, being chased by Armageddon, who's a giant killer whale who can somehow traverse time. Like I said, I feel like April on this cover, but nonetheless, it's still fun to try to figure out what's going on for myself. And yeah, apparently Renette is a full-blown Time Lord now. Apparently Doctor Who didn't trademark that term, so they can call Renette a Time Lord. So that was fun. Only 3 more issues, 148, 149, 150, and then you get the Jason Aaron reboot. So we'll see what happens there. And we'll just go ahead and hop right into some pickups here. Because I did pick up some other things. You know, I got to have my cover buys too, of course, and then just some things. There's one book I actually tried to read, but I just, unlike Turtles, I just gave up trying to figure things out. So last week we talked a little bit about foil covers. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. This one worked really well. Batman 143. I think this is the start of the Joker Year 1 storyline from Chip Zdarsky. Really looking forward to this. I think I'm actually going to wait and let this run hit the app, and then I'm going to read it, just because sometimes, like, I just noticed, like, my hand's touching the foil. Like, I could see my fingerprints on it, so I'm just like, I'm just going to bag this one up in a mile or so. It looks real nice because I really like this Giuseppe Camuncoli cover on that. I thought that was awesome. So I may actually get this signed at C2E2 because Chip Zdarsky is supposed to be there. But I was just like, man, I don't even want to touch this. It's such a nice looking cover. Gotta say hi. Count Von Strange the Fourth. What is going on, man? Nice to see you in the chat. Legend says he did get that DC Ultimate. Now we can kind of share some reads, keep up with one another. So can't wait for that. Congrats, Legend. Hope you find some good stuff on there. I know you'll be reading your Shazam and all that stuff. Another cover by, of course, Daredevil Black Armor. I do love me some Daredevil, but I do like me some Kevin Eastman drawing Daredevil even better. So I don't know what this Black Armor storyline's all about. Maybe if I get enough of these, I'll read it, but I at least wanted Eastman drawing his inspiration for Turtles. It's always great to see him drawing Daredevil. There's this Resurrection of Magneto. This is the one I actually, like, bought and wanted to read, but then, like, I am so far behind on X-Men. I'm just waiting for them to renormalize at this point, if that makes sense. So with all the Krakoa storyline, I really haven't read too much since House and Powers of X. I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, but I was like, maybe this would be a good jumping on point. No, it's insane. I need people to explain to me at this point what's going on. It ends with Magneto with no eyes or something. I don't know. But cool, John Tyler Christopher negative space cover. This is one of the few negative space covers that I've bought recently. It doesn't have color rub all over it. So thanks for that, Marvel. Hopefully you're slowly improving quality here. Let's see what Count Von Strange is saying in the chat. He says, I'm skipping C2E2 this year and going to PlantCon. All right, that sounds cool. Legend says that is sweet. What a sweeter dollar bin book. So I got a couple dollar bin books here. I got this Red Hood and the Outlaws #1 for $1. I think I actually already had a copy of this, but I didn't want to leave one laying for $1. And then I got some Mike Turner Witchblades. Cue up a gimmick here. Let's see. We got Witchblade #6. And look at that. The main reason it caught my attention. Newsstand. It's a newsstand, so Image 90s newsstand. I'll probably end up buying it if it's an artist I like Mike Turner. And then they had direct editions of 7 and 8 as well, so I decided to pick those up for $1 a piece. I think I'm pretty close to having issues at least like 1 through 12 of the original run of Witchblade. I've had the number 1 since I was a kid. I found the number 2 recently. So I think I at least have like the original run and up until the darkness is introduced and all that fun stuff. Count Von Strange is asking, where are the Swamp Thing books at? I haven't been buying too much, so actually, the funny thing is, I do have a giant stack. Like, I probably bought either over there. I can't remember if I showed some last week too, but I actually do have a ton of Swamp Thing books I could show next week. I got to dig them back out because I think I was working on my sort pile. But I did get like a lot of the way post-Almore run stuff, like you're talking like the Mark Millar stuff with the Brian Bullen covers. I got a lot of that run as well. I might actually read and show some of those next week. But yeah, unfortunately, I started to sort them into the collection because I've been buying up a lot of Swamp Thing recently. Let's see. We got another eBay win here. We'll go ahead and go into this. So I think this was around this is probably like one of the better buys I've had recently, maybe like $30-$40. It was a buy it now, and I was just like, well, why? So you'll see what I mean here in a second. So there's a Teen Titans lot, new Teen Titans. It came with the first appearance of Vigilante, which I think I already had this book. But a lot of these I think are going to turn out to be condition upgrades because they look like they were read once and then put in, unfortunately this doesn't have a board, but hey, at least they bagged it, so I'm trying. And there's a couple of the Spotlight books, which I don't think I have most of the Spotlight ones, so I was happy at least these are thrown in. You got the Jericho, you got the Hawk. I always like Starfire ones. I think those are George Perez's best covers on Titans. You gotta love the Starfire. And even Harbingers are in there. Always reminds me of Crisis. Aqualad. And then we got Teen Titans number 4, and these come in the Mylar 1s. I might switch them to the 2s, but I was like, hey, cool, they actually came in some Mylars, but I like my tops taped shut, and these have that overhanging gimmick there. So, yeah, at least these were bagged up very well. So that being said, they are in very good condition. We got Teen Titans number 3. Luckily, the tape's on the bag, so I mean, that's how I just got to change the bag out anyway. Nice newsstand copy, New Teen Titans number 1. So I think this is only my second copy ever of this book, I believe. The only other one I've had was a gift from a Poor Man's Comics, and I got it double signed and graded since I got it from them way back when. So always shout out Poor Man's Comics when I see this book. And then the one I was looking forward to the most, which is an easy condition upgrade for me, because I think my copy is missing a chip out of the cover. First appearance, Deathstroke on New Teen Titans number 2. So I looked on the front and back. Really sharp copy, in my opinion. So this might be one of those ones if CGC is going to drop by E2E2. That's kind of a lot of C's. I may end up dropping this book off with a couple of the other ones because I thought that was pretty cool. Solid copy on issue number 2. All right. And I guess I could show these couple other books real quick, and then we'll kind of pause and go back to the chat. This was a SMZ Comics on Whatnot. They were selling some of the WonderCon exclusives, and when I saw more Kevin Eastman, I had to buy it on. I think they were just selling them for whatever they were selling for at the con, or maybe it was one of those ones like, here's a MegaCon exclusive, but you can only go on like the Whatnot distributors or whatever. But I pretty much paid, I think, whatever the going price is, like the starting price at least. So this is the facsimile of the 82 Frank Miller, Chris Claremont, but it's got a nice Kevin Eastman cover attached to it. So I had to have the Eastman. So actually, I'll be completely honest, I already got this one listed online to sell because I only wanted the Virgin variant. It's always one of those gimmicks where if you want this one, you got to get the one with the trade dress. But I kind of like the trade dress too, so if it doesn't sell, I have no problem keeping it. But it does sell, hey, cool, whatever. But I at least wanted the Virgin variant Eastman on that. So that was a lot of fun as well. All right, let's kind of cut the music here. And then we're going to get into the chat. Let's see what we got going on. Count says, I need to reorganize my collection. I'm sure what books I own anymore when it comes to TMNT and Swamp Thing. Yeah, I know the feeling of like I pay in my camera, which I'm a little too embarrassed to do. Like it is just packed to the brim with comics I'm sorting, as well as up here, over there, up here, in there. It's, yeah, there's stuff everywhere. So I'm trying to liquidate a few things right now and figure out what I want to keep. And once again, I don't want to plug my eBay thing, but I've actually been selling a full run or two just to clear room in my boxes. So we got JLS Comics. He says, nice book. I'm guessing he might have been easier to talk about the Deathstroke or this one. I think they're both nice books. That's why I bought them. But either way, JLS Comics, he loves some comics. So nice seeing you, Jesse. Everyone's saying hi to each other. All right, we did have one more pickup. Then we're going to talk about some DCU, and then we're going to do a mystery unboxing. So last week, I promised you guys a little bit of a rant on Space Usagi, which will also segue into me owning the figure Space Usagi, because I hate him so much I had to have the figure. But this is actually, I saw this at Target, opened the figure, like, you know what, that's really nice. I am going to pick that up, because I didn't have the one from, that was released by Playmates when I was a kid. So I decided to get the NECA release. There's a lot of really cool detail and extras in there. So yeah, I rolled across that Target one day, just decided to pick that up. This was what Space Usagi was sitting on top of, though, wing nut and screw loose. So I have the wing nut, but the screw loose is flown away from my childhood action figure. So I'm kind of glad when they did the NECA redo of it, they at least gave us a full-blown screw loose instead of like a little yellow accessory that, kind of just looks like a, like a gun or a shield, basically. It's something equivalent to that. So really big box too, by the way. So this thing was, I think I just got this shipped from Walmart originally, but yeah, it's a hefty set of figures for sure. Anyway, back to why I brought up Space Usagi. So on my Mirage Turtles run, I was missing about 3 issues. And once again, I don't have a first print issue 1, first print issue 2. Those are what I have, the various printings. But there was one, for whatever reason, is considered a key, and that is TMNT issue 47. So I finally found an affordable copy of this book after waiting several years. I didn't want to pay, triple figures for this book. I guess it has a lot of heat on it because it's the first appearance of Space Usagi, which I don't know why anyone's specking on Space Usagi. Like, apparently he's supposed to have a Netflix something. I don't know. I haven't heard a single thing about it, but nonetheless, they're still holding on to these books, and when they sell them, they're selling for high price. Bad news is, though, and this was advertised in the lot. Luckily, I got a really good deal for what this book goes for. Typically, it does have a lot of like color wear and a decent amount of spine ticks. It looks like, I think on the back, I think there was like, they had one of those bags. Yeah, it's probably the same bag. It has the peelable, resealable bag. That's why I don't like resealable bags. Usually if I rebag these, I do not keep the resealable bags, but I think there's definitely a little white strip missing out of the back. Nonetheless, hey, I can cross this off the list finally. For an affordable price. I did not overpay finally for my issue 47. So I think I'm down to like 41 and 44. So purely just run filler now. Like, they're not keys anymore. And the seller was nice enough to throw in a Adventures in the DC Universe. And it's got a nice little, I'm going to have to crack this open because it does have a Paul Dini and Bruce Timm story. So I'm looking forward to that. And then once again, newsstand. Nice newsstand copy on a 90s book that was probably hardly distributed. So I'm sure, people are doing the math on this. That's probably not the easiest book to find. So yeah, nice little 2-pack of books there. So I was happy with that because I've been looking for that Usagi book for a while, and it has been a headache and a half. Like, I've managed to complete like getting all of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th print of issue 1, pretty much like everything past that, minus issue 2 printing 1, and I couldn't find that one for an affordable price, like everything else for pretty good pricing. So yeah, definitely a whole bunch of headache there. All right, so next up, let's see what Legend says here. He's communicating, and Chase says, I got a whole run of Adventures DC. Nice. I've been wondering about that. Sometimes I see them in dollar bins and stuff, and I kind of just leave them, but I don't come across them too often. So I think the people who read them definitely treasure them. They seem like they're really cool books. All right. As promised, I got to talk about some DCU. So we'll be back after the bumper. All right. So this week in the DC universe, I read a whole bunch of stuff. So the first book I want to highlight is Superboy, Man of Tomorrow. This is written by Kenny Porter, who I've never read any of his work, so I was kind of curious to see what he was capable of here with a Superboy book. And John Oy Lindsay, once again, never seen the art of this artist, but nonetheless, the story wasn't too bad. Would I call it one of my favorite Superboy stories ever? Yeah, probably not. You know, I could do without this one, but every time I see Superboy, Connor, his own title specifically, I want to make sure I go out of my way and support the character, because it seems like it's been several years he hadn't had his own book for a little while. I'm not counting that New 52 one because that was a whole different character, and I think they've just killed off at this point. But nonetheless, in Man of Tomorrow, Superboy Connor, he's back in the regular continuity officially now, ever since the Bendis Young Justice, and he gets a chance to shine on his own, but that's the thing, he wants to shine on his own because he feels lost in the shuffle, hanging out with a very extended Superman family now. Now, in the other books, there's like 2 kids that are with Superman. There's John Kent, there's Supergirl, there's Steel, and then Zeus operating Steelworks, so there's a lot of characters operating just in Metropolis right now when it comes to the Superman family. So Superboy still wants to do good. Like the first issue opens, he's trying just to save the day, and he gets beat there by like 4 other super people. So he decides to team up with Kellex, you know, that robot. He kind of just stays at the Fortress of Solitude, make sure it's nice and safe. He goes there, takes a teleport device, kind of like Captain Jack Harkness and Doctor Who. He can just teleport anywhere with this device. So he just goes into space where he's needed, and he comes across this group called the Cosmeteers. He thinks they're doing good in the universe, but then they start using lethal force and getting in trouble with the Green Lantern Corps, which is 2 big no-nos, especially with the super family person in your group. So the story kind of just takes off from there. There's the main leader of the Cosmeteers is definitely an antagonist, to the point where he even stole a sample of Superboy's blood when he wasn't paying attention and created his own Superboy clone, which would come into the end of the story. And yeah, of course, shenanigans happen. The bad guy officially turns bad. The Green Lantern Corps shows up and tries to help Superboy stop them, but in the process, a Green Lantern dies, and there's no return with the Cosmeteers from there. The guy is the main leader of it, just completely bad, so Connor goes out of his way to try to stop them. And of course, in stopping him, the bad guy ends up getting killed and puts his brain in a cyborg version of this clone. So now we have a cyborg Superboy running around because of this book, basically. But nonetheless, it was still a lot of fun seeing Connor in his own title again. I would still recommend the John Teen Titans run, or even the Jeff Lemire pre-New 52 run if you're looking for something good with Connor in it. But this was just a nice, return to form for the character. Hopefully we will see more in the future for sure. Next up, I read some Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams and Germanico. Once again, Jeremy Adams is another writer I wasn't super familiar with. I haven't read too much of his work. But I just wanted to start to get back in some of the core characters that I've enjoyed over the years. And I had to see what Hal Jordan was up to. And the reason I highlighted issue 4 in this slide, because I actually started with issue 4 because I thought Peter Tomasi started writing on this book, but he actually just wrote the backup story called Wayward Son, which involves Sinestro's kid operating on their home planet. So that was kind of cool, actually, but I did want to highlight some fun stuff in the story, because apparently the last decade plus, it doesn't seem like, from my perspective, it's been kind to the Green Lanterns. Because ever since Jeff Johns kind of stepped down, and guys like Robert Venditti stepped up, and even Grant Morrison, honestly, I just haven't enjoyed too much Green Lantern. I just felt like I'm either lost in the shuffle, or there's just so much going on I can't keep track. But at least this story kind of grounds Hal on Earth. Apparently the Green Lantern Corps, like the main Earth sector ones, are all kind of condemned to Earth without rings. But the willpower is so strong that they can actually still operate the power of the Green Lanterns. So that's why they can still operate, but they can't just fly into space and all that fun stuff. There are a couple flashbacks to show you how we got from the Guardians to this new group running the Green Lantern. So just the Guardians, they're kind of done for, so they gave the Green Lantern Corps to a new group that I don't know too much about yet. But one of my favorite scenes is where they're talking to the Earth Sector Green Lanterns and they're reassigning them because Hal's stuck on Earth, and I believe John Stewart is as well. But guys like Guy Gardner, for instance, who wants to be really lippy with the new guys in charge, their first order for him is, we need you to take care of a problem in the cosmos that has gone far too long without solving. We need you to go take down Lobo. And all of a sudden he changes his tune. He's like, yeah, okay, I'm in, bye. And he just goes and is ready to go fight Lobo. So that was probably my favorite part, even though he's only in like one page this whole run so far. That was my favorite scene, is just Guy Gardner is going to go fight Lobo, and we can't wait to see it. But there's just a lot of other fun things going on in this. Like the story of issue 4, I believe it was issue 4, at least opens with Sinestro, and he's just kind of trapped there too. Like his ring's powerless, so he's looking for any horsepower he can get. He's just like, Hal, I need that ring. I can harness the willpower of the green. That's where I started. And Hal's like, I'm not giving you anything. Like, come on. And then he makes Sinestro so mad he's actually able to tap in to the Red Lantern Force. So the power of rage. So he has to fight Sinestro full-on rage powers. I really like that issue. So I'm definitely going to be adding this to the digital pull list, if you will. So I really enjoyed my time with Green Lantern. Next up's The Flash. I only had a chance to read a couple issues of The Flash. I saw Mike Deodato Jr. was the artist on it, so I definitely wanted to check it out for Deodato's art because I really like it. He actually did something in my sketchbook, so shout out to Mike Deodato Jr. Always liked his work. It definitely doesn't disappoint in this title. Like he is the star of this book, in my opinion. Not that the writing's bad or anything, but I can't remember the colorist's name, but him and the colors, it's some of the best Deodato work I think I've seen for quite a while. Cy Spurrier, once again, need to read some more of his work. It seems to be the common thread here with me hopping back into DC after kind of a long hiatus. But this book was kind of awesome because Wally West is your Flash in this book. So I'm not sure what all's going on with Barry. He actually popped up at the end of issue 2 and kind of like a weird, dark scene. And he's sitting on a park bench and there's like some aura in the sky. I'm not sure what's going on there because I haven't read past issue 2. But Wally West is your Flash, so you kind of get to know his family again. Like Linda Park is his wife. They have 3 kids together now, so they have the Tornado twins. They have a newborn. So you finally get to see this family dynamic brought back into Flash. That was kind of at the end of the Mark Waid, the Jeff Johns stuff, and that whole run that was sort of lacking in the recent Barry Allen stuff. So I always enjoy seeing that with Wally. Plus, it's the Flash I grew up with was Wally West. So I really enjoyed seeing Wally West back. And I don't know what happened with the Heroes in Crisis and the Death Metal Wally and all that stuff, but this is the same Wally West as that. So I'm kind of glad we're glancing over that because I hated all of that. That's what got me out of reading some of these books to begin with. But we're going to press forward. I think I'm going to add this to my pull list as well because there's a lot of cool just things that Cy Spurrier's planning in. Like, for instance, his kids go to school with Animal Man's daughter. I'm like, that's Maxine, and it's going to be Animal Woman, according to the Swamp Thing Green Hell. So hopefully that wasn't just an Easter egg. We get to see Animal Man eventually. The more Animal Man, the better in the DC universe. And yeah, there's a lot of Gorilla Grodd stuff so far, too. Apparently he's really fast, but then Flash is also tapping into this like negative speed force, or the stillness, I believe is what they call it. So yeah, really interested to see what happens in issue 3 going forward. The next book, this might be my pick of the week, is this next book, and I kind of didn't anticipate this. This might be my favorite Titans book I've read since the John stuff I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Superboy. But we have Titans, written by Tom Taylor and artist Nicola Scott. So, and of course, great typo there, Carson. We'll just ignore that and press forward. We got Titans #1, written by Tom Taylor. So we have a good writer with a veteran artist. The Titans have taken over the spot that the Justice League occupied all these years in the DC universe. The post-Dark Crisis, the Justice Leaguers have decided, hey, we're going to go ahead and take a back seat. The Titans, you guys can run things now because right now you're probably the better superhero team. And you guys are awesome. And actually, surprisingly, my MVP in this book, because it's a team book, might be Beast Boy, which I never thought I'd be saying, because usually, like, on the cover here, my favorites would probably be like, Wally or Nightwing or Starfire, but there's a great relationship between Beast Boy and Raven that goes throughout this first arc of the book I read. And you get to see, and they actually, we were talking about Swamp Thing earlier, they actually make the new Swamp Thing, I believe his name is Levi Kamei, I need to read that whole run too. They make him an honorary member of the team down the line when he helps them after like a natural disaster on an island. He actually goes through the island and helps it repopulate it with plant life using the green. So that was a really cool issue. But there's a lot going on story-wise to lead into the next book I'm going to talk about. So Brother Blood, he is now masquerading as a character named Brother Eternity, and he has basically kidnapped Tempest using spores, and he mind controls them and whatnot. So of course, when Brother Blood and the Titans butt heads, they're going to butt heads, of course. They know not to trust him whatsoever. So there's that going on. There's also this murder mystery going on where the dead body is Wally West the Flash. So because time travel is wibbly wobbly and all that stuff, Wally West from the future runs back in time. You find his corpse, and they call Linda like, "Oh my God, Wally's dead." But then Wally shows up. The present day Wally is like, "Well, what is happening here? Like, why is my body there?" So then they're obsessed with keeping Wally safe. They're trying to stop Brother Blood Flash Eternity. And then that actually leads into the next book, Titans Beast World, by Tom Taylor and Ivan Rice. Once again, Tom Taylor, good on the writing. Ivan Rice, awesome artist. I've liked him since the Green Lantern stuff. So happy to see he's still finding great work. So this kind of connects into one big story, except there's a lot of spin-offs in Beast World, which I'm probably going to skip out on, because the first one I checked out was the Amanda Waller one. And I'll tell you guys, like I usually don't like to, say a lot of negative things about comic art because I can't draw a lick, but this art was so bad I could barely understand which character was which. So I won't go into that book any further. It was just not for me. That's all I'll say about that. But the actual mainline Beast World title combined with the Titan stuff is really cool. Basically, Brother Eternity decides to wake up this beast on another planet. It is only comparable to Starro, which that's how it was stopped to begin with. It actually had to get fought by Starro to be defeated. So what happens is they can either go look for Starro, which no one wants to do, to fight this incoming beast that's going to hit planet Earth, or Garfield, Beast Boy, has a better idea. He's just like, I think I can turn into a Starro. And they're just like, okay, so Cyborg has to help him do that, which, by the way, I would say my only negatives of the Titans run so far is Cyborg is just there. He has minimal dialogue. He's mostly in background. If you like Cyborg, you probably, if he's your favorite Titan, you're probably going to be slightly disappointed in some of this. But I think he's going to have a little bit more to do after this Beast World stuff. But anyway, he has to help Gar turn into Starro. That's why Cyborg has to teleport him into space. And he becomes Garo. So Garo fights this giant space monster and defeats it, sends it packing. But then out of complete nowhere, this Dr. Hate, which I don't know if it's supposed to be a mutated Dr. Fate or the brother of Dr. Fate, I don't know, but a Dr. Hate shows up on the orders of Amanda Waller. And pretty much, I don't know if he kills Beast Boy's soul or turns it off or what, but he pretty much makes it so Garo is planting beast spores all over the world, kind of like Starro would rain down terror on the Earth masses. So that just creates chaos on Earth. So the Titans have to split the forces, Donna, Troy, and Raven have to try to stop Garo. Everybody else is trying to fight each other. Batman turns into a wolf for some reason. It's just all out chaos, and so far I'd say it's very good. It's very well handled by Tom Taylor. Like I said, sometimes some of the characters in the Titans have to take a back seat. But there's a lot going on, a lot of cool story beats. So I'm really looking forward to reading more of the Titan stuff. I think another issue just dropped today on Infinite, Ultra, whatever it's called, the best tier of DC. So I'll definitely have to check out the latest issue, because I wasn't planning on reading them all, and I just sat down and read both mainline Titans and the Beast World stuff all in one sitting. I was so engaged in what was going on. So I feel like it's been a little while since a DC book, let alone a Titans book, has done that for me. But I say this is probably my favorite Titans run since the Jeff Johns stuff. So if you guys have any other DC reads, definitely drop them in the chat. Drop them down below in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys are enjoying from the DC universe right now, because I think they're definitely doing a lot of good. So let me know what I need to read next, please. All right, so let's cut the music and then let's get into the chat. We got some people hopping in here. Let me scroll up. I believe I saw, there he is, Chris Barrett. But Freud, I've got some bad news. We got Chris Barrett hanging out in the chat. We got my first subscriber ever, Fish Tropic. What is going on, man? How you doing today? See what else. We got John's Comics with Kids. How's it going, John? Just trying to read through the comments here. Everybody just kind of saying hi to each other. I think with that, it is time to do this mystery unboxing. So let's cue up our last little bit of music. I don't even know what we got going on. We'll just click a rando here. Hopefully it'll be good. We'll see. You can blame StreamYards if it's not. So I did pre-unbox. I didn't want you guys seeing me mess with tape and killing people with potential earbuds. So basically what this is from the Mike Mayhew Whatnot store. And he was selling packs of 5 of his books, just, you know, random con exclusive, Whatnot exclusives and that stuff. And he was selling packs of 5. He just said he felt like these weren't like 98 near mints, but a lot of them were just books that could be fixed with this guy back here, the press. And I don't know if, you know, there's probably not a lot of signature collectors collecting, or sorry, I forgot how to speak there. Let me take a sip of water. Now, signature fans out there know the Mike Mayhew signature is no longer free. It's the exact opposite, actually. So he said there might be 1 or 2 signed books in there. We'll see. But these are kind of just, you know, imperfect books. But he said they're not too imperfect. So we'll see what that means. Maybe, you know, but they're cool exclusives. And I always like Mike Mayhew covers. So don't think I can lose here, but we'll see. They were 10 books shipped in 1 Gemini mailer. So that's always a little bit of a little red flag. But yeah, that just means, you know, they weren't bagged and boarded. So they saved a little bit of space there. So let's see what we got. Complete mystery box. I have no idea what to expect here. Looks like the first one's kind of cool. We got a Hidden Empire Mike Mayhew Studio exclusive Darth Maul from issue 1. It's a pretty cool cover there. It looks like what he would be talking about is just a little someone dropped the book there, but once again, if I wanted to press it. Problem is though, like with pressing these newer books, this one might be one of those ones that has that sticker in it. And obviously I don't want to press an entire digital sticker. Oh, okay, good. So I guess if someone wants to, I don't even know if there's a code on there, but yeah, there's no sticker in these anymore, so that's cool. I like that better. So I will have a little easier time pressing that. So here's another cool one, which, oh yeah, this one is definitely a pressing cast. See, there's a lot of waviness there, but G.I. Joe 301, really cool Baroness cover. I think I actually thought about just buying this normally, and I just did not for whatever reason, but there is like a line that goes through it there. So, but that's a really cool cover though. So happy that got thrown in. We'll see what press we can do on that. We got some Mandalorian issue number 7. Looks like another studio exclusive. Giancarlo Esposito. Looks like we got Mandalorian issue 3. This looks like a photo cover. So that's pretty cool. And then the last one, no signatures there. I do see, this is what I was talking about on those negative space variants earlier. They did the same to his negative cover where it's just color rub city. So yeah. So, yeah, Marvel, come on. Like, if you're going to do these, just switch to cardstock. It's getting old. All right, let's see what else we got here. That was the first pack. So I bought 2 different packs. I think my brother actually gave me this one for Christmas, but this one is unsigned. So Miles Morales, number 5. Here's a cool cover. Let's see what we got here. We got Star Wars number 25, variant edition. And yeah, this one actually looks pretty good. So I don't know what they saw wrong in this, but yeah, that's awesome. I like that one a lot. These next few, I definitely see a couple imperfections. This one's not too bad though. Edge of Spider-Verse, probably the, I think this reprints the first appearance of Spider-Gwen. So that's probably a really nice book to have. Yeah, this looks familiar. Because I bought this off the rack, or, you know, the original printing, of course, when it came out. It's like we got Hidden Empire number 1. I think that, yeah, so I had the Virgin in the other one, and this one's the trade dress. So cool little set there. And then the last one, Cool cover, but I definitely see what he's talking about with the imperfections. Hey, at least on the Vader cover, it looks like space, but those white spots are white spots on the book. So apparently, it was a New York Comic Con exclusive. Darth Vader number 25. So that is the Mike Mayhew History Gemini mailer. There we go. I think with that, that is all of the books I have to highlight tonight. So we'll get into some final plugs here, and then we'll sign off. So tomorrow, right here on this channel, we will be having Modern Men Episode 1 Part 2. So if you guys watched the last part, like, where in the world is the Supergirl review? She's in the thumbnail. There's supposed to be a book review. Well, that book review will be premiering Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow on this channel. So don't forget to check out Modern Men. We had a great chat about Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Can't wait for you guys to check that out. So definitely set the alarms or what have you, all that good stuff. And then just let me know what you guys think. I'm going to start dropping, some shorts and some Instagram stuff over there. If you guys like that type of stuff, let me know, and I'll make more of that type of content. And then we're going to do a Modern Men recording on Saturday, so we'll continue. Hopefully, I'll just keep dropping on Wednesdays as I edit and such. We're going to be reading The Authority Volume 1 next up. So if you guys want to do a read-along with the Modern Men, after the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, we're going to launch into The Authority and go from there. But big thank you guys for joining me tonight. And until next time, to stand